Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution, episode 1386. We're getting earlier. I'm waking up earlier every day this week. It's not 8:30. Happy Thursday. It's only taken us 4 days of recovery. But hey, we're here. I'm still rocking some Cubs gear. It's cold. It feels, my computer says it's very cold. It was cold yesterday, very cold this morning. 1 degree according to my phone. Felt colder. Of course, at 1 degree, is there a difference between 1 and minus 11, minus 15? Not much. It did feel a little colder though this morning when I took Ernie out to go potty. Happy Thursday. We talked Hall of Fame yesterday. We had some news. Whoa. It even led the baseball news that came out last night, even resulted in a return, an eBay return. That's how big the news was. Now, I think it's kind of a silly return, but it's a return nonetheless. And it's kind of one of those returns where, well, it's sold at auction. I can probably sell it and buy it now for even more. And what is the news that I speak of? I don't want to, slippery slope territory. You don't want to start spouting off false information. Let's go to the New York Post. Let's go to the New York Post. So here is, I saw this last night, and then this morning I wake up to a return request for a recent eBay auction of a Mariano Rivera Topps Gold, and the timing of this kind of shitty with the Hall of Fame announcement. The only unanimous Hall of Famer, Mariano Rivera, at the center of a bombshell I can't say that word, SA assault. You can't say the SA word on YouTube, or they'll nix your video. Yankees great baseball Hall of Famer. This is from the New York Post. Yankees great and baseball Hall of Famer Mariano Rivera and his wife Clara are facing a shocking lawsuit alleging the couple covered up the SA of a minor at their Rye, New York home and at a summer camp connected with their church. The bombshell lawsuit, which was viewed by the New York Post, was filed last week in state Supreme Court in Westchester County and alleges the Riveras failed to act after learning that a young girl linked to their Refuge of Hope church in New Rochelle was SA'd. Quote, our lawsuit alleges that Mariano and Clara Rivera had a duty to protect our client and missed the opportunity to save her from the harms of SA. Adam Horowitz of Horowitz Law, one of the lawyers representing the victim, said in a statement provided to the New York Post, the Post's request for a comment to a representative of Rivera regarding the amended complaint went unanswered. Mariano Rivera, the plaintiff, it goes on from the New York Post, referred to as Jane Doe, attended a summer internship in 2018 at Clara's suggestion at the Ignite Life Center in Gainesville, Florida, where alleged abuse by an older girl who was a minor at the time took place. Doe claimed that she was repeatedly SA'd in the camp's dormitory and shower with the older girl areas of the body. Mariano and Clara Rivera later traveled down to the Ignite Life Center in Gainesville after Jane Doe's mother expressed she was concerned for Jane Doe's safety at the summer camp. The mother was said to have been assured that Clara would look into her concerns and, quote, respond accordingly. However, the suit claims that when the Riveras made the trip where they learned or should have learned information about the SA taking place, they each separately isolated and intimated Jane Doe to remain silent about her abuse in order to avoid causing trouble for both church organizations. The suit states the girl returned to New York after the conclusion of the internship and continued to attend services at the Refuge of Hope. So some not so good news led to a return on eBay, and it was and it was even the reason was given was it was a Mariano Rivera Topps Gold from 2008. It was sold at auction. recently. Reason for return, changed my mind. Comments, great seller and item, thank you, but would rather not have this card after recent controversy. And it's one of those where it's like, well, I can probably put it in my store for $10 and I think somebody will buy it. I wonder what year was it? 2008? What year was that card? 2008 Topps Gold. Because I mean, I don't give a shit if it's in my collection or not. It's not a Cubs card. Even if it was a Cubs card, I wouldn't care. Mariano Rivera. Topps Gold. Did I put Topps Gold? Okay, so let's see. Let's do sold. Mine's probably my sold count's probably an outlier because it was an auction sale. Let's see. So mine was the last sold, $550 plus 99 cents shipping. There's one sold for it's a combo with the All-Star for $9. So there's not another 2008 that's sold. So I'll put it up for $10 and maybe I end up selling it for $6 again. Who knows? So yeah, that was some interesting news to start your day. How's your day going? Did some more shipping yesterday. You know, today's one of those days where I feel like it's Friday. Like I woke up this morning. And felt like rejuvenated. And maybe it's just all of the toxins are out of my body from binging on junk food and alcohol Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and even some junk food on Sunday. So I feel like the toxins have been released. I woke up this morning with a sense of relief that it's only Thursday. And I'm like, God, you know, with the way the week's been going, and I've been slower probably than what I should be, and it's only Thursday. I even got I got the show card show for Saturday mapped out. Saturday is the Madison Card Show, Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. And right now we're in that time where there's some turnover, I guess. Always the few days before, which is a lot better than the night before. So if you are a vendor at the Madison Card Show or any card show for that matter, and maybe you're sick right now, illness is going around. So this is just for any card show vendor. Please, if you're sick right now and you have a card show on Saturday, reach out to the promoter and say, hey, I'm sick right now. Hopefully I'm better by Saturday. Just do it today, please. Because the worst thing is Friday night, I still don't feel better. And then you reach out to the promoter on Friday night, and that excludes a lot of people because people travel into some of these shows. So just do that. Just do that. You know, I've had some like on Friday night. I just wanted to give you a heads up so you weren't looking for me on Saturday morning. No, that's not enough heads up Friday night. If you've been sick all week, let me know. You don't have to cancel on Tuesday or Wednesday, but just let me know. Hey, I'm sick. Hopefully I'm better by Saturday, but at least I can prepare and I can have somebody on deck. Hey, this guy's sick. He might not be there on Saturday. Are you available? It just gives me, because otherwise I assume everybody's going to be there. And you know what assuming does, because not everybody is always going to be there. So that's just my PSA for the morning. So I do appreciate when people reach out on Wednesday, even Thursday, gives me a little bit of time. By Thursday afternoon, Thursday night, it's really starting to cut close. I mean, I have enough people on the wait list that it doesn't really matter, but until Friday night, and then it matters. And then you put me in a bind. But if it's Wednesday, Thursday, no problem. Thursday night, we're starting to push it. By Friday, just let me know ahead of time. Like I know it's cold, your car won't start on Saturday morning. I know shit like that happens. We have to deal with that. And somebody I reached out to one of my dealers, and he's from like the south side of Chicago. And I'm like, hey, just checking to make sure you're good on Saturday. He's like, yeah, actually I'm having troubles with my car. He's like, I don't know. And this was Wednesday night. It's like, cool. Like, I know this guy, there's a chance his car's not going to be ready for him to come up to the show on Saturday. So I've got somebody on speed dial. So I appreciate that. But sold out show. I've had a little bit of turnover, had a couple cancels, or, like, hey, can't make it this weekend. So we got those spots filled. So 140 tables, sold out show this Saturday, Madison Card Show, Sheraton Hotel, John Dolan Drive. Show hours 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And of course, it is free admission this Saturday. I don't know if I mention this? I don't think I mentioned this. But the second quarter dates have been set. I've got to look at my calendar. So upcoming Madison Card Show dates. Of course, this Saturday is the Madison Card Show, January 25th. The February Card Show. I have a dentist appointment next week. God damn it. I hate the dentist. I don't personally hate the dentist. I just hate all dentists. I hate being confined to a chair and people putting their hands in my mouth. Back to the Madison Card Show. February 22nd is the February date. March 29th, Madison Card Show, March 29th. And then April, May, June dates are secured. So we continue the theme of the last Saturday of each month. Now, I was concerned that a couple of those dates wouldn't be available. And we get into the summer months. There are some dates where I'm not available. And then we get into the summer and it's the National is the last. I think it's the last Saturday where it's like, ooh, I hope I can get the weekend before. So here are the dates for April, May, June, Madison Card Show. April 26th. That's the last Saturday of April. May 31st. It's the last Saturday of May. That was what I was concerned about because I have which by the way is not Memorial Day weekend. Memorial Day weekend is there's 5 Saturdays in May. So it's the Memorial Day weekend is the 4th Saturday in May, not the Madison Card Show this year. It's on May. The Madison Card Show is on May 31st. So I will be out of town. I will be out of state on Memorial Day weekend. So I will miss Bratfest this year. But the Madison Card Show moves on Saturday, May 31st. And then our June date is set for the final Saturday of June, which is June 28th. And then July, August, September dates, we'll announce those in probably a couple months. Although, what are the dates? Actually, the way the calendar works out, we will aim for the last Saturday in July because the National begins, I think, on July 30th. The Wednesday, July 30th, I think, is when the National starts. I think it goes July 30th through August 3rd. So we'll aim for that last Saturday in July. Again, I'm at the mercy of the venue. So, and they only allow me to book 3 months at a time. I wish I could book out further in advance, but they don't allow that. So I'm at the mercy of the Sheraton Hotel. And fortunately, we're 6 for 6 and fingers crossed we go 9 for 9 at the next schedule time for quarter number 3. So Madison Card Show this Saturday, Sheraton Hotel, John Dolan Drive. Also, I mentioned this yesterday. Speaking of card shows, we've moved a little further along. There will be a card show during a Madison Mallards baseball game this summer. We do have a date tentatively set. I don't want to. We've agreed on a date. It'll be on a Monday night this summer, but I don't want to share that date just in case they come back and say, "Oh, somebody just booked it out from under me." But we will have a card show. It's going to be a theme, kind of like many ballparks do baseball card night. There's going to be a baseball card night during a Madison Mallards game, and they have some ideas for giveaways. So there will be a stadium giveaway in relation to baseball cards during the Madison Mallards game. By the way, Madison Mallards are a Northwoods League team. They are a college summer collegiate league. So very popular around here. They draw 6,000-7,000 fans a game. So it'll be a nice little collaboration between the Madison Card Show and the Madison Mallards this summer. So stay tuned for more details on that. And also may have a big guest for the March Madison Card Show. We're finalizing details on their appearance. So I did let that slip. I didn't let it slip. I mean, I can tell you it's a company that may grade cards, and they may be one of the biggest, or not one of the, they are the biggest grading company in the industry. So we're working out details to get PSA set up for the March Madison Card Show. What else is going on? So I don't think I listed a couple things. I did list a couple auction items that I picked up in Beloit last week. I listed some of the 54 Bowman football cards. I listed, I think I listed a couple autographs. So check those out, 99centcards.com and my eBay store. There it is on the Buy It Now section. Buy 7 or more cards at regular price. You'll save 25% off at checkout. That's for Buy It Now items only. Auctions don't qualify for the discount at 99centcards.com. And speaking of auctions, the next auctions will end, I think, Monday night. I think I misspoke the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I think there's Wednesday night auctions. There was not Wednesday night auctions. Next Monday. I've kind of been slacking. I mean, this is, and now I realize why January is a poor sales month, because it's, even though I'm only gone, and this is the old saying in the office, you have to work twice as hard to take a day off, or whatever the boomer saying is. And that's the truth. Like, yeah, I'm only gone for 3 days at Cubs convention, but it doesn't mean like, 3 days and we're back to normal on Monday. Not at all, because I'm still playing catch up. Now I've got the Madison Card Show, so not only am I preparing for the Madison Card Show, but I'm feverishly trying to get things shipped out, so it doesn't compound. And Sunday, Monday, I'm even further behind. So now I realize, and it does take away from what I'm listing. I'm not doing anything within my eBay store for during Cubs convention. So that's going to hurt the algorithm. And then I come back and all I do is ship. Although I did get some listings up. Of course, we ran some auctions. So I'm trying to get that balance in, and listed a couple, higher dollar singles last night. So hopefully some stuff moves. Yesterday was below my target, well below my target. Slightly below my last year's target, which is kind of where I want to be, because I know January is a tough month. January and March are my toughest months. And I would also say July, just because of the national vacation. We're planning another trip to Europe this summer. So July will be one of those tough months. But I will go to the national this year. So basically the month of July is out. So it's going to be a very slow July. March, obviously, 8 days in Arizona for spring training. So I really want to, I want to pump my numbers up for January. We can talk a little bit about how my sales are going. January for me is slow just because of I think it's a slower month in general for card sales. And I don't know, I don't have the numbers to go, to determine whether this is true or not. Anecdotally, I felt that January was one of my better months of the year, but that was when I was a casual seller. Now that I've been full-time, or essentially full-time, the 2 years before I went full-time, January has been a slower month. So from a full-time basis, January is one of my worst months for card sales. I don't know how it compares to others. Do I have my stats? I have stats from the last couple of years. So where's 2024? So 2024, I think, was my worst. Where's 2024? I have 2024 somewhere, but 2024 January was I think my second worst month. I think it ranked like 11th. 2020, well, and here it is. January 2023 was number 1. And then January 2022 was number 5. So I guess it's hit or miss. It really is hit or miss. And we'll see how this year pans out. We're 22 full days in. Let's take a look at my eBay sales for January 0101 2025. And we want what? 2020 0122 25. And let's compare it to the same time period in 2024. Generate that report. So gross sales up 35%, net sales up 43%. So, hey, that's good. Net sales are higher than my gross sales. And a little bit of that's boosted by auctions. It's been a slow month for auctions. I haven't been putting much thought into my auctions this month. My average sales price is up. Quantity sold is up. And of course, this is over 2024. I want to do the math and see where it. So if all things hold, times all things hold, I'm still going to come up shy of my goal. So I've really got to outperform last year. I've really got to make a push here. The last week of January, I've got to really make a push so I can get that January number up. Because there's going to be some months in 2025 where it's going to be a little slower. I've got spring training coming up in March, which is every year, and I know July. I've got the double whammy this year. Last year I didn't have the double whammy. We did take a 2-week trip to Europe, but I didn't go to the National. This year, we're going to have a 2-week trip to Europe, and I'm going to the National a couple weeks later. Sandwiched right in the middle, the creamy filling is the Madison Card Show in July. So July is going to be a tough one. So, I've really got to outperform every month this year to hit my goals. So let's go to the chat. Happy Thursday. No topic today. Good morning, Cooter. What's happening? Philly Joe's in the house. Good morning. David is here. Good morning. Listened to yesterday's show. Congratulations on the baseball stadium card show opportunity. It should be excellent advertising. Thank you. And that is that talking about the Madison Mallards collaboration this summer. And that's what when I first got the email, I'm like, I don't want to do this. But then, you think about it, and it's great marketing for the card show. It's going to bring, not only is it going to bring non-traditional dealers to the card show, it may bring non-traditional people like, oh, there's a card show at the stadium. I mean, games are like $5-10 to get in. You get to see some baseball. You'll get a giveaway. It's a baseball game. Like, there's plenty of entertainment for what you pay to go to these Mallards games, and they are entertaining. And it's going to introduce non-card people. Like, a lot of people go to Madison Mallards game just to see baseball. Hey, there's a card show. Oh, I collected kids. I collected cards when I was a kid. Blah blah blah. You go check it out. Maybe it gets kids that weren't already into it. So it's a nice little collab. They reached out to me. I probably should have, because I've talked about that. Like, what are some, do I put advertising on there? I've had talks, radio stations has reached out to me about advertising, and I'm like, radio advertising doesn't do it for me. Like, they had some proposals, and it's like, this just doesn't, here's my budget. And like, I don't want, this is what I'm comfortable with spending, because they're like, well, you can bring in X amount of people. And it's like, but that doesn't affect my bottom line. That just, because there's no admission fee. If there was an admission fee, yeah, let's put more money into advertising and marketing. But it's at the point where obviously I still need to pay for advertising to keep, top of mind, keep people coming. But at the end of the day, this is a great great opportunity at no cost to really market the show. Red Light, good morning. Porter's in the house. Good morning. Orlando is here. Cooter says it's always the churches. What's that tell you? Yeah. Funny how that works. Zach and Porter says, why did this result in a rerun? Some of your hottest sales have been murderers on cardboard. I know. Oh, a return. I don't know. There's, I sell Aaron Hernandez outsell same set, I think, or same brand, the Sage or whatever. Aaron Hernandez outsells Gronkowski like twice as much, like $125 for an Aaron Hernandez autograph, $60 for a Rob Gronkowski autograph from the same set. But yet this is a return. You never know. Maybe I'll be able to sell it for twice as much now because of all this. Gem City Card Show's in the house. What's going on? Thank you. I forgot I had this hat. I think I got this hat at spring training last year. It's been sitting in my hat. I've got 2 hat totes in our laundry room, and I was digging out hats, and I'm like, I think I've got a white hat somewhere. I need a hat for Cubs convention. I'm like, oh, I forgot I had this hat. Nice little surprise. There's a third hat that I got in Switzerland that I can't find. No idea where it went. And it's a freaking hat. It's either on my head or in the hat bin. Or sometimes, like after the show, if I wear a hat on the show, I ran out of hair gel, so I don't have any hair gel. That's why I'm wearing a hat today. And I'll just like throw the hat on the floor. So maybe I did that and it just got kicked under. Maybe it's under my desk. Cooter says Zach is correct. After all, SA conviction won't prevent 60 million people from voting for him. He should run for office. Gem City Card Show says dealer tables are still available for the Gem City Card Show on March 22nd, which, by the way, some people may not know where Gem City is. Quincy, Illinois. So if you're in the Quincy, Illinois area, hit up Brian. Gem City Card Show, March 22nd. Mr. Archer is here. Good morning. Royals 417 in the house. Tracy's here. Good morning. E-learning day 2. Found Treasures is here. Gem City says, hell yeah. Kyle says, good morning. Just 2 days until the Madison Card Show. Looking forward to it. Glad to have you back. It's been, I think you missed last January. It's been 2 years, I think. Johnny M in the house. What's going on? Good morning. January, February, March, always my best months till November. So far, starting out really good. Sold 5,873 cards last year. Looking for 10K this year on eBay. Cheers to that. Yeah, my numbers, and I go over this, and I used to think anecdotally, first quarter was always my best year. And it might have been. As a casual seller, January, February, March may have been my best sales. I don't have the numbers to actually look, but the numbers that I could look up on eBay, 2022, my 3 best months were May, October, and November. 2023, my best 3 months were January, August, September. And 2024, I don't have it with me, but I know it was second half of the year. I think it might have been September, I think, was my best. September was in 2023 also. I think September, November, December, or maybe September, October, December. But it was, they were all, in the last like 4 or 5 months, were all pretty close. August might have been up there as well. Gem City Card Show says a card show at a baseball game is illogical. It would be better at a bowling alley. Duh. Keep in mind, I have a basic store, 11K listings max. Bink Scott in the house. Good morning. Max says the only paid advertising you need is your Facebook ads. And that's kind of what I stick with. I know not everybody's on Facebook, and Facebook ads work. Facebook / Instagram, because it's on Instagram as well. They work. Absolutely. We saw, I don't have the numbers, but I can tell you the eye test and asking people, where'd you hear from the show? Because after a few months, saw a bunch of new faces. Oh, I saw it on Facebook this morning or last night. But I know a lot of people are not on Facebook. So, and I've heard from people, I was set up at, I think it was the Kane County show. Wasn't the last show, but maybe 2 shows ago. And they're like, I didn't hear anything about this show and I live 3 miles away. And I'm like, well, it was all over Facebook and Instagram. Well, I don't have Facebook. And it's like, and I think there was a podcast that I was listening to a while back, and somebody had mentioned, like, I don't see, a lot of these card shows. And it's like, well, and if you don't know where to look, like a lot of us, we know where to look. Beckett, Sports Collectors Digest, cardshowmap.com, Facebook. But if you're not familiar with those sites and you're not on Facebook, where do you go? However, it's the law of diminishing returns. You put an ad in a newspaper. How many newspapers are out there? You're going to get, you're probably not, I'm trying not to be ageist here, but you're probably skewing toward, an older community. Are they going to want to come out to a card show? Maybe, to check it out. Are they going to come to a card show and spend money? Probably not. Same with radio. So it's kind of the law of diminishing returns. Hey, it looks great if you have a whole bunch of people at a show, but it can also be a bad thing. If half the people in there in a crowded room looking at tables, but they're not spending any money, that's a bad thing. Yeah, hey, great crowd, but people that want to spend money may be leaving because they can't get to any tables because it's so crowded, and a lot of them are just looky-loos. So it's a delicate balance, and I agree here. The only paid advertising you need is Facebook ads. It works. Now, if it didn't work, I would start to explore maybe I should put some money in radio and newspaper and, just to get the word out. But again, is it going to pay off? And probably not. Probably not. SoCal guy says SGA at Mallard's game, 1 million Cubs bobblehead. No, that is not the case. No, there will be no bobbleheads. It'll be baseball card related. Gem City Card Show says paid Facebook ads work. I can attest to that. Porter says, oh no, Bo ran out of depth number 7. Is that a hair gel? I bet that's a hair gel. Max says there are other cities in Illinois. That's a pet peeve growing up in Illinois. You're, in California. You're like, oh, where are you from? Oh, Illinois. Because you don't say in California, I'm from Anawan, Illinois. You say I'm from Illinois. Oh, Chicago. You're like, well, not exactly. So are you a suburb? No, like 3 hours away. Oh, is it close to Chicago? No, it's 3 hours away. There's a lot of corn that separates my hometown from Chicago. Illinois is a very big state. Kyle says, January 23rd was my last card show, hoping that dude along the wall upstairs is there with his bargain boxes. I found a lot of cool NASCAR cards at his table, paid 50 cents for a Rusty Wallace auto. Very nice. And I have no idea who that would have been. Which wall? Upstairs wall, upstairs. Okay, wall upstairs. Trying to think of who would have. I've got all my maps. Was that last year? There's a lot of there's a lot of turnover month over month. Here's April 2023. Oh, January, the year 2023. I've got December 22 here. This one's not labeled. I'm trying to think of who. Oh, hey, I've got January 2023. How about that? Here's the map. All right, so January 2023. So along the wall, Josh. Well, Josh is no longer doing cards since he was busted stealing from his employer. who happened to be a card shop. So that may have been where you got all the bargains, because he was just stealing from his employer. So no, so he won't be there. Ray. Oh man, Ray hasn't done a show. Probably that might have been the last show he did. The Rockford guys, the Rockford card show is also this Saturday, so they won't be there. So the wall as you walk in is all three of those dealers are completely new. The far wall, Troy's still there. He's got all the wax. Jim is still there. Josh is a Pokemon guy, but he doesn't do shows. Logan, who is Logan? I don't know who he might have been a Pokemon guy too. Riley doesn't set up. I see him walking. I saw him last month though. He still walks the floor. And Quentin doesn't. He got completely out of cards. Back wall would have been Gary. He's a vintage guy. He'll be set up in Rockford this month. Kyle is down in Dallas now. And John doesn't do shows anymore either. So, man, it's just crazy to look back at the dealer layouts and like how many of these dealers like are not like, let's see. I wonder how many dealers, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So there's 36 separate dealers on this list. I'm trying to think of the ones that I know that don't even do shows anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of the 33 don't set up at card shows anymore. And a couple others haven't set up they set up at shows, but they haven't set up in Madison, or they're and actually really technically 13. Technically 13. That's crazy to look back on that. Robert's in the house. Good morning. Curious to know what you do when someone says they didn't receive their card from an eBay purchase. That's a great question. And it depends. Typically, there are so many responses that I give. So the most common occurrence is somebody orders a card. It's sent eBay standard envelope, and it says it was delivered. Like, I checked the mailbox, it's not in there. So I have a note that I just copy and paste. And it says, let's go back here. ESE response. It's pinned on my notepad. This item was shipped using eBay standard envelope. The tracking is not always 100% accurate. Typically, the actual delivery takes place 1 to 3 days, sometimes more, after you receive the delivered notification. And usually that they say thanks, and it ends up getting delivered the next day. Now, if it's been a week, like, hey, it says it was delivered a week ago. It all depends on what it is. Sometimes if it's a $1.50 card, I'll just hit send refund. You go to your insurance claim and your PIP claim and do that. I'm actually dealing with one right now where it's a bubble mailer. And the guy reached out, and this is the second case he's opened. And it shows out for delivery, but it showed out for delivery for like 3 weeks now. So in the previous case, I'm like, well, it's out for delivery, so he's going to get it. So I just uploaded the tracking to the return or the not received request. Well, it's still, he opens up a return on, or not a return, a non-received on everything. And I look, the tracking still says out for delivery. So my next step on this is I'm going to file a missing mail claim at USPS.com or org, or gov. I'll open up a missing mail claim, and sometimes that like puts like, oh, hey, we got to find this. Now, Ground Advantage does have insurance. I've never had to claim insurance. It's only, I might not even do it. It's like $15 purchase. Like, do I want to go spend an hour trying to figure this out for $15? No. But it might be easy. Maybe I'll spend 5 minutes, and if I can do it in 5 or 10 minutes for $15, it's worth it. So it just depends. Every case is unique. For the most part, didn't get it, file a return, or I keep saying return, file a non-received claim, and upload the tracking, or just hit the refund and move on. You can file your insurance claim through the PIP. John says, did you talk about Oppenheimer yet? No, I did not, but I did see Oppenheimer has his first autograph in a Topps product. So there you go, Oppenheimer, for those Oppenheimer fans out there. Gem City Card Show says, Max, I'm on the belly button of Illinois, if that makes more sense. Brian says, advertise in local kids magazines and schools, make cheap corrugated yard signs and place around town. I've actually thought about that, putting up signs on like posts and stuff, because I'll see like, lose weight, call 888-555-4400. And it's like, oh, maybe I should do a Madison Card Show one. And good morning. Max says, correct, attendance at the show is just fine. You've already had people bitch there's too many people, not smart to spend anything elsewhere. Porter says it's a hair gel. Kyle says upstairs on the right when you walk in. So I bet it's the guy. So I bet where you got all the great deals was the guy that was busted for stealing from his employer. So wah, wah. Gem City Card Show says that's a high quality map. Max says that's probably who. Yep. Cooter says your state even has East St. Louis with lots of Cardinal fans. Ponder that. Bink Scott says, Troy have modern wax or vintage wax? Modern. I don't have any vintage wax. Like, nobody has vintage wax at the show. Every once in a while, somebody will have like a vintage pack. And of course, it depends on what your definition of vintage is. But every once in a while, there's vintage packs. Vintage boxes. The oldest, I don't think I've ever seen a vintage unopened box at the Madison Card Show. Rodney sets up and has older wax, like not ultra modern wax. And we're talking older as in 90s and sometimes in the 80s. Like he has an unopened box of 81 Topps football, Montana's rookie year. He's got an unopened box. It's weird. It's slabbed by some grading company that slabs sealed boxes, like actually slabs them, not the BBCE wrap. Well, I guess Baseball Card Exchange has been in there, so I'm sure they've set up a few times. So I'm sure they brought. Although I think they just have showcases. I don't think they've brought actual wax with them. So no, just all typically ultra modern. Max says Troy has all the stuff your Walmart or Target doesn't have anymore, if that makes sense. Unicorn Cupcake laughs. Big Scott says, got it. Porter says lots of Cardinals fans in Southern Illinois. I'm sure Bo can attest. Oh yeah. It's basically that line of, really like Peoria. Like I was going to say Springfield, but really Peoria is kind of the dividing line. And you have Cardinal fans in Northern Illinois. Like I grew up in Northern Illinois. If you split, you look at the map and you say, where's Anawan? You're like, oh, that's Northern Illinois. And there's plenty of Cardinals fans where I grew up. Now Cubs fans outnumbered Cardinals fans in my hometown, but there was still a decent amount of Cardinals fans way up in Northern Illinois. When I got down to Macomb and I bet Quincy, and you could say Quincy's probably Quincy's central, right, central Illinois, but St. Louis is pretty damn close to central Illinois on a map. Just happens to be in Missouri. Because I wouldn't consider East St. Louis or Granite City or Alton, which are suburbs of St. Louis, I would not consider them Southern Illinois. I mean, if anything, I'd consider them St. Louis. But I I don't think that's. I'd have to look at let me look at a map but and maybe I don't say Southern Illinois because I just say St. Louis, but map of Illinois. I should know this. I've been to every. I guess you could consider, St. Louis and East. Yeah, that's Southern Illinois. But we don't Granite City is a St. Louis suburb. You don't call Granite City, you don't call it Southern Illinois. You just say, oh, it's down by St. Louis. So yes, in Springfield is basically dead center, and I guess it is Central Illinois. We kind of but I'm from the north. We call it South. We call it Southern Illinois. Basically, Springfield South is Southern Illinois, and people from Southern Illinois consider Springfield Northern Illinois. They think, well, Springfield's way up north. It's no, Springfield's way down south. But that's just how long the state is. I think from the northern border to the southern border, it's 8 hours. What's crazy is Cairo, Illinois is closer to, I think it's Memphis, or no, maybe it's Birmingham, Alabama. I think Cairo, Illinois is closer to Birmingham, Alabama than it is to Chicago. Let's see if that's correct. Cairo, Illinois to Birmingham, Alabama. So Cairo to Birmingham is 360 miles. Hey, there's Ernie. How about Chicago? Cairo to Chicago. What's up, buddy? What are you doing? Hey, where are you going? Cairo to Chicago is 372 miles. So it's about the same distance. Cairo, Illinois to Birmingham, Alabama, same distance as Cairo, Illinois to Chicago, Illinois. Max says he's made a couple shit comments about Pokemon, so I'll take this pleasure to give it back at any point. Kyle says, sounds like I will see totally different dealers than I did 2 years ago. Yeah, in fact, since we've got this out, so just in the upstairs ballroom, you're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Just in the upstairs ballroom, you will see 29 different dealers. Just in the upstairs ballroom from the last show you went to in January 2023. So yeah, there's going to be plenty of different vendors, but the vendors, I don't know if you're going to find much NASCAR. That's the problem for you. Dad Dude from Duryea says, what's up? Does eBay change the shipping page every 2 weeks? Been stuck on bulk shipping. I don't have any changes. I haven't had any changes in my shipping page. Anybody else experience a difference in shipping pages on eBay? Unicorn Cupcake says, I bought a Fond du Lac Giants 1909 team photo on eBay. The photo was cut from a magazine, which I knew, but the size was maybe about half the size of a standard baseball card. Photo was misleading. Interesting. Yeah, that kind of sucks when especially if it's a photo. Did it have the dimensions? It did not. He answers, no mention of size in the description. $13 down the drain. Yeah, I guess that's one of those buyer beware. If there's no size in the description, reach out and be like, hey, what's the dimensions on this photo? Michael Renicky, what's up? Good morning. Offbeat All-Stars. Hey, been a while. What's happening? Guess who got let go from his job? Brian, what's going on, man? It's only been 3 weeks. Brian. Got to start the job search all over again. Bink says, I made a lot of visits to Metropolis, Illinois, home of Superman. Zach says, white supremacists in Southern Illinois ask the South to hold their beer when it comes to the KKK. Southern Illinois considers Chicago a different state. They want nothing to do with it. Hey, even I grew up in Northern Illinois, and everybody wanted Chicago to be a separate state. And it's like, you might get your wish someday, and you'll regret it. Where do you think most of the money comes from to fund the rest of the state of Illinois? The money is in Chicago. Bing Scott says they were all Cardinal fans. Oh, yeah. Brian says, thanks. There were a lot of red flags, but I kept ignoring them because I needed the money. I've had 2 interviews so far this week and another 2 scheduled next week. Bing says, offbeat, take your time, enjoy some R&R. Porter says, sorry about that, Brian. Sounds like you're better off in the long run. Brian says, I wish I could. Unemployed from September through December. Can't take too much time to relax. The company I was with is hemorrhaging money. They were cutting labor like crazy. 3 people were let go before I did, and 2 more people got let go the day after. Oh, my God. And that's a new, venue. And if you were on the sales side, how are they going to make sales? Sounds like a shit company. You are better off. You are better off without them. So that's about all I had for today. This Saturday, Madison Card Show. Sheraton Hotel, John Nolan Drive. Brian, hey, by the way, 5-Star will be back at the Madison Card Show this Saturday. I've got to get my autos prepared. I got these right here. I think actually I haven't decided on the Parrish yet. I don't know what's a Robert. We can do this together. What's a Robert Parrish in-person autograph sell for? Robert Parrish IP auto. Because if it's like $20, Robert Parrish auto sell for like $10 to $20. Okay, so we're not gonna slab the Parrish. Although, let's see if we've got. Let's look up PSA. We want. No, we don't want the vault. We want. Okay, I guess there's not a place to, at least from these results. So, okay. So I don't think any of the David Robinson and Karl Malone were definitely. I think Parrish was the question mark. Karl Malone, we're going to slab him. And we're going to slab old Admiral David Robinson. The rest are like $5, $10 autos. They'll go in the eBay store, unauthenticated. And then I've got the Breeze and the Dion's. I haven't decided on Sean Alexander. I haven't looked those up either. I assume they're not worth sending off for authentication. So here we go. All right. So those are going off to PSA. Bing Scott says it's not Rivian, is it? Brian says, I know I'm better off, just hate to be put in this position. Planning on dropping off some subs on Sat. Awesome. See you Saturday. Mark, what's up? Good morning. Brian says, Parrish signs a lot of TTM. I have 3 to 4 from COVID times. Okay, I wonder if this is a TTM return. Let's see. Max says, move up here. Almost every business is hiring. Many of my former clients are begging for warm bodies. Surprising it's not like that down there too. Yeah, I have no idea what the situation is. Offbeat wants to know where is up here. Kyle says, Parrish signed all 5 cards I sent him last summer. No wonder his autographs aren't worth much. No wonder. Max says, Wisconsin Rapids isn't basically everywhere hiring still. I don't know if that's the case. What is the job market like? I haven't been in the job market. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of entry level positions. God, I wouldn't even know where to look. It's only been. Bink says, I work for the Union 150 Operators Union. We get laid off for a couple months every year. So Offbeat says there are places hiring, but nothing good. I can go work for Target, but they have crap hours. I'm seeing the same jobs posted from when I was laid off the first time. Yeah, that's a red flag right there. I was going through that when I was before I decided to quit my job and sell cards full time. I would look at the job market around here and just to see what was out there. And there was a lot of companies where they were always hiring, and they were always hiring for a reason. There was a reason they were always hiring. If you're going to be picky, it's not going to be easy. It's never easy. Getting a job, you can't just, unless you want to just go take an entry-level position somewhere. If you want a good job career, it's hard. It's hard for a reason. Bing says, Target, you get an employee discount. There you go. Let's go. Brian says, picky, LOL, I'm getting a job for what I'm worth, not making minimum wage just because I have no income. Amen. And that's how you have to be. Like, of course you have to be picky. Like, you don't want to just flip burgers. Like, you want a good job. Now, if it comes down to it and you need to make an income, yeah, you can go and get a job at McDonald's. But, hopefully you're at the point where you don't need to do that. And Brian's not. So, all right. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Visit my eBay store, 99centcards.com. Buy 7 or more cards at regular price. And save 25% off at checkout. That's buy it now only. I do have some auctions ending Monday, I think. Are the next auctions, of course, next Tuesday. It's an eBay auctions live. 99centcards.com. Check it out. Like, subscribe. We'll do this again. Hey, tomorrow's Friday. We're back with the free-for-all Friday morning. Back with the free-for-all, and we'll play Name That Player tomorrow morning. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow.